baby, without. I wouldn't know what to. Baby, without you. I wouldn't know what to.
I'm going to be starting out here today in Cecilia's bedroom. It really needs some help in the closet and her drawers, so let's get started. When I opened Cecilia's closet, this is what I was met with. It was so hard to get to anything in here. Over time, different projects and things that she no longer uses got put away and stuffed into here. As with any good declutter and organizing project, I'm going to start by taking absolutely everything out of her closet. As I take it out, I'm actually organizing it into different piles, one to donate, one for trash, one for keep, and then the last one for hand-me-downs that are going to get set up for her little brother's arrival in January. If you have a closet or a room you need to clean out, let me know what it is in the comments. I hope this video gives you all the motivation you need to tackle your project. Just think about how satisfying and relieving it will be when you finish it. All you need to do is make that decision to start, and I promise you won't regret it. If you've watched my previous decluttering and organizing videos, you know how much I like to just completely empty a space first before organizing it. It's such a great way to clean out a space. You are forced to put your hands on every single item and make the decision to either keep it or say goodbye and let someone else take use of it. Once the space is empty, it's so much easier to see the space that you have to work with and to envision a better way to organize everything back in. Everything here on the right of Cecilia's closet is where I started to store everything she has grown out of. The main reason I finally got the motivation to clean out her closet was because her little brother is due at the beginning of January, and I really needed to go through all of this and set up everything before he gets here. I'm definitely starting to nest. All I want to do is go through and clean out everything in our home, which makes for some great videos. So subscribe if you aren't already so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. So I have made what looks like a complete and utter wreck in here. So these are all things that I need to set up that he's going to be using right when he gets home. So I'm going to be taking these out of the closet so that it's easier to get to them once I need them. Our baby boy isn't coming for at least another 3.5 more months, but I wanted to get this huge project out of the way before I get too far along in my pregnancy, and it's harder for me to move around and stay on my feet. I also wanted to set up a lot of these baby items like the swing and the bouncer so that our daughter Cecilia can get used to it being out here before her little brother comes too. I'm going through all of Cecilia's hanging clothes now. I could barely get to these before, so I'm just taking the ones she's grown out of off the hangers so that I can put them into storage, and then I'm going to continue taking everything out of the closet so that I have a completely empty space to work with. I collect Disney Pixar figurine sets. It's a bit random, I know, but anyway, I had put them on Cecilia's shelves in her room to decorate, but now that she's older, she can reach the shelves that they were on, so I ended up just shoving them in here into her closet. We've finally finished her playroom though, so I decided to use these to decorate some of the shelves in there. So later in this video, I'll show you how I ended up displaying them so that we can actually enjoy them now instead of them being here in the back of her closet. Now that Cecilia's closet is completely empty, I'm going to tackle all the piles that I made around her room. It's actually not as bad as it looks, but I can't believe there was this much stuff packed into her closet. So the first pile I'm taking care of are things that are not going to be going back in here. They have a home somewhere else now, whether it be the playroom, her brother's nursery, or things that I decided to donate. Basically, all the things that don't make sense to be in her closet, I'm taking out of her room. A lot of the things in here I'm going to be bringing into her brother's nursery, like this cart. It's actually a diaper and burp cloth cart that we had put together for Cecilia when she was born. That was incredibly useful. I won't be organizing that in this video, but I will in a whole new video where I'll be decorating and organizing her brother's nursery, so make sure you keep an eye out for that video. I'm so excited about it. Okay, so I basically took everything out of here that I don't want to go back into this closet. So now I'm just going to vacuum it, clean it out so that I can start bringing stuff and organizing it back in. I love vacuuming and dusting out spaces that have completely been emptied. I feel like this is the only way to make it feel completely brand new and as clean as possible. So these are all baby items that he will not be using for at least another like 3 or 4 months after he's born. So I'm still going to be storing them back in here. When I make the nursery organization and decoration video, I'll show you our storage situation on there, but we are basically very limited on storage space. So the only spot I have for these hand-me-downs from Cecilia are to put them into her closet. So I'm just trying my best to play a little Tetris with them so that they take up as little space as possible, since they will be in here for at least another 8 or so months. I'm starting to put the biggest items back into Cecilia's closet first, so the boxes of diapers. We already have a couple for her brother too because Costco had an amazing sale on them. And then I'm just gonna go hang up a few of her clothes, but honestly there isn't a lot I'm actually gonna bring back into here. And then it was actually time for her nap at this point, so I'm taking out all of her hand-me-down clothes that I put into these storage boxes, and then I'm going to bring them into the living room so that I can sort through them there while she takes her nap. After her nap, I'm going to go through her drawers, declutter and organize them, and then I'm finally taking the time to toddler-proof this lamp and attach it to the wall, as well as a few other things that I've been meaning to get done in here. But so far, I am so happy with how much better this closet is looking. I had put the baby swing, bouncer, and toys that I had brought out from Cecilia's closet into our living room here. I'm setting them up in here because this will essentially be their home once our baby boy is born. I also want Cecilia to get used to them being out and basically get bored of them before her brother comes to make that transition as easy as possible for her. These are a couple play mats that Cecilia was obsessed with when she was a baby. I know our baby boy won't be using them right away when he gets home, but it won't be too much longer after that, so I decided instead of leaving them in Cecilia's closet, I had this empty basket on the bottom of our TV console that I'm going to store them in so that it'll be easy to get to them when we are ready to set them up. Now I'm going to go through all of Cecilia's old clothes. I needed to go through and sort out all the ones that are gender neutral so that I can wash them and then get them ready for our baby boy. This is something I really wish I had done as I put away her hand-me-downs, but I also didn't know if we were going to have a boy. If it were a girl, I would just be taking all of these clothes out and we would be completely set on outfits already. When I was pregnant with Cecilia, I loved the idea of just getting gender neutral outfits for her because I knew we were going to have more kids, but it's so hard to pass up on all the cute little pink girly frills and flowers and dresses and bows, so that did not end up happening. There are a ton of secondhand stores around where I live for kids, which is where I ended up getting a lot of Cecilia's outfits, especially for her first year, because she was growing out of everything so quickly. Most kids do too, so even the secondhand clothes are hardly worn. Some outfits I've gotten from these shops still had tags on them, So I definitely recommend giving those stores a chance if you haven't already. When I first put everything into these boxes, I had folded everything and then put them in, but if you want to get more to fit into a storage bin, you can try rolling everything individually. The problem with that though is it takes forever. So what I did to fit as much as I could into these was to sort them all into quick categories like onesies, pajamas, dresses, pants, and then I laid them out flat to put into the boxes. The second container is just full of the next size up for her clothing, so I'm just gonna go do the same thing that I did with the other container. Laying all the clothing flat really helped to fill absolutely all the available space in these bins. I also need to get another one of these bins because pretty soon Cecilia will grow out of her next size and I'll need to store that away too.
We're spreading color around us. We're lighting up the sky, it's what we do. We shouldn't care about anyone or anything that brings us down. So come on now, let's be free. Just be yourself. Keep on doing what you do, doing what you do. Just keep on doing what you do, doing what you do.
Alright, pretty happy I got all of her small outfits to fit into these bins, and then all the gender neutral things I took out so that I can wash them so that our little boy can use them. This pile of things that accumulated from Cecilia's closet are things I needed to put away into the playroom. Right now I'm taking all the baby toys that she had grown out of and putting them into this empty basket that I had left over after decluttering and organizing the playroom. That was one of my last videos, which was super satisfying, so if you haven't seen it yet, definitely go check it out. I'll put a link for it in the description. These boxes were just random toys that we usually brought out whenever our younger cousins or a family with kids came to visit, so I'm just sorting through and decluttering all of this because there are a lot of things in here that we actually don't need or will ever use, and it's just taking up space. This last box is a bunch of homeschool supplies that we aren't ready to use, but luckily since I just cleaned out the cabinets in our playroom, which will eventually be our homeschool room, it made it easy to find a space that made sense for them in here. Okay, we are back in Cecilia's room. She's up from her nap, so I can finally finish all the drawers and everything else that we need to do in here. The first thing I did was bring back the storage containers that are holding her hand-me-downs, and then I'll start going through and organizing all of the drawers in her dresser. I'm starting by taking everything out that I can from the first drawers. There wasn't really anything in the middle one, and then the one on the right here was just a mess of Cecilia's bows and a few other things. I've been really happy with how I organized the diaper drawer, so I'm just going to tidy it up a little bit. Cecilia actually barely fits on the changing table, but it's still easier to change her up here than it is bending over on the floor, so I'll be keeping this as long as I possibly can.
The way that you talk to me, the way that you make me feel, I don't know if you're real. I wanna put you in that spot.
Since Cecilia likes to go through all of her bows, and no matter what I do, I can't keep them organized, I'm just going to put them all into this small drawer in the middle. It's basically as organized as you can get with anything that's organized for a toddler.
Oh, you know you're beautiful, you know you're beautiful, and it's like you're untouchable, like you're untouchable. Don't you know, you know you're beautiful, you know you're beautiful. I'll sing until my lungs give
This next drawer is a complete mess. There's a bunch of shoes that are either too big or too small. I also kept her bathing suit in here, her pajamas, and socks. It was just all a little bit random. Burp cloth in there, so I'm going to put that with all the other ones, and then a whole bunch of shoes that she has outgrown, so I'm going to put those with all the other storage, and then here's what I am left with. I started to pile all her clothes together on the floor so that I could sort through them in a little bit. It's the most satisfying part, so I can't wait to show you guys how I organized them all back in. This drawer I decided to keep her sheets in, but there were also a bunch of covers for like her lounger as a baby, so I'm taking those out and bringing them into her brother's nursery since she no longer needs them. This last drawer was just filled with a bunch of blankets and quilts, so I decided to bring them into her closet, which makes way more sense for these anyway. They were taking up a whole drawer that I could be utilizing to organize her clothes better. So waiting for some of Cecilia's clothes to dry in the dryer, so while I wait for those, I'm going to clean at the top of the shelf here. It seems like any shelf that is above Cecilia's reach gets cluttered so quickly with things she's not allowed to play with. It's just too easy to throw something up here and forget about it, but I'm so tired of rocking with her on her chair and staring at all of this, so it was so satisfying to just take the time and finally declutter this area. Another area of Cecilia's room that bothered me was this shelf I put up. It had a bunch of Disney VHS tapes on it and a few more of my collectible figurines, but I've never been super happy with how this shelf looked here, so I'm going to take it down. My husband and I love watching old Disney movies on VHS. There's something so nostalgic about it, so we aren't ready to give these up yet. So I'll show you later in this video how we end up displaying them in the playroom, which has a bunch of Disney decor too, so it matches really well. There also used to be a mirror on the wall here below it, but it was so big and heavy. Even though we had it on some really nice anchors, it always just made me so nervous to have it up there. So I anchored it to the corner of her room where she can play in it whenever she likes now. Now I'm just removing the screws, and then I'm finally going to take care of all the holes they put in the wall between the shelf and the mirror that used to be here. I like to patch holes with Drydex, and then as soon as the pink dries to white, I know I can paint over it with her pink room color.
Suddenly there you were with those bright blue eyes. We were conversing under the night sky. When you took my hand, said let's leave now. Don't wanna be shy. I will let my guard down.
This was the piece of wall decor that used to be cluttered on the top of her bookshelf, so I'm moving it over to her dresser. By the time I'm done, it's time to paint all the holes I filled just a little bit ago. After I was done painting, I had finally finished all of Cecilia's laundry, so I hung up the rest of her dresses, and let me tell you, it was so much easier to do this now that all the junk wasn't in the way anymore. So I'm starting by sorting out all her clothes, and as I do, I'm pulling out all the pieces that she has grown out of. The categories I like to sort her clothes into are tops, shorts, one pieces, and PJs. And then I also put long sleeves into their own category too. I got these organizers off of Amazon when I first put Cecilia's room together. I love them so much still, and I actually want to get some more for our master bedroom. I'll link them in the description for you too if you want to go check them out. Okay, so I'm going to organize all of these clothes back into the drawers. These are just a few things I pulled that she can't fit into anymore, but they are also gender neutral. And then here's everything that she's grown out of recently, so I'm going to store away this with everything else. This folding style has become extremely popular. I first heard about it from KonMari, and I've used it ever since, but you fold everything and lay your clothes vertically next to each other so that you can see every single piece of clothing. Nothing is buried underneath, and it's easy to find and pick out any outfit.
Don't you just get tired chasing fame and being pretty? all the time doesn't sound like fun. You can do better. Let me show you what a good time looks like. You can do better, so much better. I don't fit into your box. Beauty queens without no flaws. You can do better. I dare you to be wilder. I don't fit into your box. Beauty queens without no flaws. You can do better. I dare you to be wilder. I want to be silly, baby, dance the night away. I'll kick my shoes off if I want. Let yourself be free and maybe you will find that there is more to life.
I'm gonna work all her clothes back into the drawers now. So since it's still nice and warm out here in Florida, I decided to put all her t-shirts, shorts, and one pieces in the drawer right under her diapers, where it's easiest to reach since these are the clothes we will be using the most. In the next drawer over, I'm putting her PJs, sleep sacks, bathing suits, and socks. I could have given her socks and bathing suits their own drawer on the top since that one is empty, but there was so much extra room in the PJs drawer that I didn't want to waste that top drawer with just socks and a bathing suit when I could fit them nicely in here instead. I decided to put her long sleeves in this bottom drawer since she won't be wearing them for a while. It doesn't get cold here in Florida until like roughly December, so we still have a while. This is a small sneak peek into the nursery. I'll be organizing all of this and decorating the nursery in another video, so make sure you subscribe and have that bell turned on so you don't miss that. I want to leave you guys with this satisfying and hopefully motivating before and after of her closet. And then this is how I ended up displaying all of our figurines and Disney VHS tapes. Finally getting Cecilia's room decluttered and organized was so satisfying and relieving. I hope this video gave you that motivation you needed to tackle your own space. If it did, please hit that thumbs up to let me know. I have an organizing and decluttering playlist too that I'll link in the description for you. And I will see you all right here in a few days in a brand new video. Bye!